This is the Caden Thunder 22nd birthday stream. I don't know about you, but he's feeling 22. I'm feeling 42. Hey, coming up, we have stories about wedding invites gone wrong, oversleeping girlfriends, relationships that are missing a spark, like a Tony Spark. Parental punishments gone wrong, canceled romantic getaways, squabbling over financial support, and of course we have spicy stories, a petty revenge story, and a cake story. We also have actual cake. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one comes from AITA and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Attending My Ex's Wedding? I don't know if I am in the wrong or if I'm being gaslit. I, 36 female, attended my ex's, 37 male, wedding this weekend and apparently failed a test. My ex Adam and I dated in high school from the time we were 15 to 18, when we amicably split up to go to college in different states. Since college, we've kept in Facebook familiar contact, where we'd wish each other happy birthday or congratulate each other on big milestones, but have had no other contact in the 20 or so years since then. About a year ago, I saw his engagement post on his Facebook and congratulated him. A few months ago, he Facebook messaged me, asking how I was doing, and said he wanted to have a bit of a high school get-together at his wedding since he was holding it in our hometown. He was inviting most of our mutual friend circle, and he'd love for me to attend as well. I hadn't seen most of these friends in over a decade. I thought the idea sounded fun, so I accepted the invitation. The wedding was this past weekend, and it was incredibly normal. I attended with my husband. He got to meet all of my high school friends and their partners, and we had a great time. Sunday morning, I wake up to a slew of Facebook messages from my ex's new wife about my audacity to attend the wedding and how out of all of his former girlfriends, I was the only one who failed the test. She said that clearly you shouldn't attend an ex's wedding unless you're still hung up on them, and how he must be planning to steal her new husband away. I was shocked, but also apologized if I had been unwelcomed and how I must have misunderstood, as my reason for attending was to see old friends. She immediately responded again and said that no sane woman with good intentions would ever think it was okay to attend their ex's wedding. I again apologized if I was unwelcome and hoped my presence hadn't detracted from her day. I then messaged my ex and apologized if I had misunderstood and hoped I hadn't caused any issues. He replied that he was glad I attended. The invitation had been sincere and there was no separate event planned. He was glad to see the old friend group and apologized for his new wife's messages. I left it at that, thinking it was a closed matter. A few hours later, the new wife is messaging me again, complaining about how I was trying to manipulate her new husband to make her look crazy. I decided this was not a ship I wanted to sail on, took a screenshot of all of her messages and my replies, sent them to the ex, and said I was just going to go ahead and block them both so I couldn't be accused of inappropriate contact with anyone. Yesterday, I started getting messages from the bride's sister saying I poisoned my ex against his new wife and I should have kept the messages to myself. I'm also being told that I could have just avoided all of this by knowing I shouldn't attend my ex's wedding. I'm honestly not sure if I'm in the wrong or if I'm being gaslit by an insecure woman and her sister. So, am I the astronaut for attending my ex's wedding? Hey, y'all, we're 1 for 1 in TA. You are indeed being gaslit by an insecure bride and her sister. I think we established this in the very beginning of this where it was like, is it weird? I don't think it's weird unless there's a reason for it to be weird. Also, dude, you guys dated in high school and it's been 20 freaking years. If this bitch is insecure about a high school girlfriend from 20 years ago and the most contact you guys have is congratulating each other for birthdays or big accomplishments on Facebook, she's got some issues. Like, she's got some major insecurity issues, and I bet you groom here is like, I wish I would have discovered all of this shit before the wedding, but now he knows, and at least he knows early enough to get an annulment if he so chose to. However, it's got to go back to his goals, right? Does he want to make this work? And if he does, they've got to really dive in and try to fix this situation. Her flipping about this and her flipping about OP is not the issue. The issue is whatever caused this insecurity, because it's that, not OP, that is going to keep causing issues for them over and over and over again until this relationship is just fried and just dust. Nothing. So he's got to decide, do I want to pursue that? Do I want to try to help someone get help who probably isn't convinced that they need help yet? Like, this poor guy. He apologized for her. He's got his hands full here. And then her sister chimes in. You poisoned him against my sister. What, by taking a screenshot of the messages? Okay, let me get this straight. I poisoned somebody by showing them what she was saying to me? Yes, that sounds like I should be the one being held accountable here. You're right. Hey, Bright, did you hear that? It was the wambulance. It's come and get you. NTA. Bonkers. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is, am I the astronaut for refusing to wake my girlfriend up for work, which led to her getting fired? I, 26 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Jess, 28 female, for 3 years. Jess and I live together. Jess is not a morning person. This is primarily due to the fact that she's up until 2 or 3 a.m. every day on her phone, despite having to wake up at 8 a.m. Oh, shit. I've tried to get her to start going to bed earlier so she could wake up on time, but she says that would leave her no time to do her own things. Seeing as she only works till 4 p.m., this is patently false, but I decided not to press the issue. Generally, I have to wake Jess up. I wake up at 5, run for an hour, get home at 6, shower, eat breakfast, and use my computer a bit. I'll start waking Jess up around 7:30. I fully understand it's ridiculous to have to wake a 28-year-old woman up, but honestly, I don't mind. Or at least, I wouldn't mind if it weren't for the fact that waking Jess up is a nightmare. I start by gradually turning on the lights at 7:30, starting with the bedside lamp. Then I begin gently trying to wake her up. If she gets up around this time, she'll go to the bathroom, and then I'll get back to the room to find her asleep again. The worst part about waking her up is that she's so ornery in the morning. She'll use expletives directed at me, insult me, and then later when I bring up her words, she'll just say, I was sleepy and out of it. What do you want me to do? Well, last Friday, she pushed things a bit too far. I was waking Jess up as usual, and when she walked past me to go to the bathroom, she made this exaggerated dry heaving sound at me. Then she said, you smell, take a shower. I had already taken a shower and always keep good hygiene. That evening, I told her that our deal with me waking her up every day was done. I was done with her tantrums, done with her insults, and done with her frankly stupid facial expressions with how out of it she was. I told her that I'm not moving a finger to make sure that she gets up for work on time. She was naturally upset about this, but I said she could wake herself up. Today was Monday, and lo and behold, she overslept and was over an hour late. Since she had already been written up twice during her probationary period for her job, this was an automatic firing. Around noon, she called me incoherently yelling about how I got her fired. I had to hang up on her to get back to work. When I got home, she immediately started shrieking at me more and then demanded half my salary until she found a better job. I feel like making her go cold turkey on waking up might have been too sudden, and apparently she really liked the job that she had. Should I have at least tried to wake her up? No. God, there's so much. I don't like it, brother. She sounds like the worst. Like, are there positive things happening in this relationship? Like, is there any good that comes from her? Because right now she sounds like pretty freaking terrible. Not just like being difficult to wake. Trust me, I understand your plight about having a partner who's difficult to wake. Candy Thunder ain't no peach in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. Not a morning person. It's fine, though. It's fine. We have a system that works. I don't wake her up. That's the system. The system is you stay far away. You stay far away. I wake up out of harm's way. Okay? Out of harm's way. So somebody relying on you to be their human alarm clock is unreasonable, right? And then also, you guys are just dating. What did she do before you? She just get fired from every job that she tried working because she couldn't get there on time? Does she not have an alarm clock? Does she not use her phone alarms? Does she not try to manage this as an independent adult? You don't get to put this on someone else, period. Then, knowing that they're not going to do it, you don't get to be like, well, I guess I'm just not going to do anything, and then go in over an hour late and get fired, and then pin that on them, and then demand half their salary because they didn't do the thing that they said they weren't going to do. You, princess bitch, are the worst. You are Bezo. You are Delulu. And I'm sending her ass all the way to Asconwan because this is beyond princess behavior. This is well beyond that. This is evil princess behavior. This is evil princess behavior. Well, princess behavior is having people serve you or do things for you, but like mistreating the people who are doing things for you, that's garbage. Mistreating them is garbage, number one. Number two, not being able to hold yourself accountable at all and blaming somebody else for you getting fired is worse. But the third step of it being just absolutely unacceptable is demanding half of his salary because she was an hour late for work when he said he wasn't going to wake her up. In what world is that a reasonable response? How did she come home and she's like, this is all his fault. He didn't wake me even though he said he wasn't going to wake me. He's got to pay. And I mean really pay. Also, she just thought that she was going to get half your salary just for nothing. And then what incentive does she have to ever go back to work? None. She's treating this like you guys were married and you screwed up somehow. And she's going to take half of everything you own. So I think you get a really good preview of what marriage would be like with this woman. You want to stay far away from that. It doesn't sound like a good time at all. I'm actually interested to hear Candy Thunder's feedback on this. And I know this isn't scheduled. This isn't a scheduled Candy Thunder feedback, but she's sitting right here. Let's bring her up, ladies and gents. Candy Thunder.
Hi, everyone. I'd first like to clear my name and say that I do not act like this. I'm not.
I didn't say that you acted like this.
I am a princess. I'm spoiled. This man spoils me. I have zero doubts about that, but I don't act like this.
It's because you're not an evil princess.
No, I'm a nice princess.
You're a queen. There's a difference.
Oh, thank you. No, she's a complete bizzo. Complete. Like, you don't get to, if your boyfriend is going to go above and beyond, like what he was doing was like pampering behavior. You have a man that is like taking care of you to an extreme, like what every woman would want to wake up to, like so sweet. And you're like, F you, go take a shower. No, you don't deserve this man whatsoever. Nope. Sorry.
I like how he's treating her like a toddler too. It's like he does the waking process that we would do for like Navy, where it's like, okay, step one, turn off the sound machine. Yeah. Step two, turn on the lights. Step three, rattle things around in the kitchen.
Special Agent Oso. That's step one.
Oh, I was thinking about the SNL skit.
Oh, okay.
Cut a hole in the box.
I just don't, like, you had a good thing going. And because you were such a bizzo about it, you f***ed it all up. You're stupid. I'm sorry. But that's, like, there is no other word for it. This was stupid behavior. And instead of taking, this is like the person that never takes accountability for anything. Obviously, she can't even set an alarm, but no accountability for her actions whatsoever. And that, in my opinion, is always going to land you right here. A special little place.
I just pressed that button, so it won't do it again.
But do it again.
Okay, hold on. Then we got to reset it to this one. Now you can do it.
Right here.
There it is.
I just like to push buttons in real life and whatever the word is that says not real life. Because I know there's a word for it.
They're both in real life. You like to push like physical, tactual buttons, but also personality buttons.
Theoretical buttons.
I
was going to say that word, but I was like, is it right? Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. Figuratively. Thank you, Jessica. Fictional buttons.
Ellen says, if Todd has to wake me up, he brings food and coffee and holds it out like I'm a hungry bear.
I love it.
Yeah, it's Cordell.
I normally stir when he gets up. So if I am like still sleeping, I'm like lightly sleeping. Like I'm, where you're like not really asleep. The mom sleep. My eyes are resting.
The mom sleep.
That's what I call it. It's from Bluey.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dusty Thunder, and we have one of these for you. Spicy story. Burns going in and going out. Title of this story is, Am I the Astronaut for telling my mom's family I don't owe her because she had a gender disappointment? Oh boy. My mom never wanted a boy. She wanted girls. Apparently her dream was to have 4 daughters, but she had me, 16 male, first. I've seen photos and videos of the day I was born. She cried hysterically when they told her I was a boy. Then she refused to hold me. Red flagging right here. There might be cultural things where this is okay. In my worldview, no. After we were cleaned up, she cried about not using the name she had chosen and said she didn't know how to move on from it. All this was caught on camera. Eventually, my paternal grandma took me, and she was the person to hold me in photos and videos taken during the rest of our hospital stay. My paternal grandma was my sole parent figure for the first 8 years of my life. She took care of me, and I spent so much time at her house. Sometimes I was there for weeks. Then she had a brain bleed and passed away, so I was left with a mom who wanted girls and not a boy, and a dad who wanted to be a provider and nothing more. My mom had my sister, Lily, 2 years after me. So mom got her girl and Lily got all of her attention, while I got grandma until I was 8 and then nobody. My mom and Lily are super close and mom adores her. Lily got the bigger bedroom. She gets the gifts. She gets all her favorite snacks. She gets to do all the extracurricular activities she could ever want, and her birthdays are huge parties with huge gifts. Christmas, she gets at minimum 25 gifts from mom alone. Mom typically gets me 1. Never anything I'd like or want, but it's the thought that counts, which is 0. My mom's family don't act too interested in making up for my lack of paternal love, and in the last couple of years, mom and I have argued more, and I give her a hard time. Dad's never around to give him one, but mom, if she wants to ignore me, then she could hear how shitty it is, and if she wants to treat my sister like a perfect angel, then she can hear about it. Mom has mentioned how I ruined her dream of 4 daughters. We were at mom's parents' house Friday, and mom gushed about Lily doing good on a project and the scooter she got Lily to help her get around easier. She got Lily a custom helmet and a personalized lock for her scooter. She couldn't stop talking about it, and I told her she really does love to shower her favorite in gifts and praise. My mom's family told me I should take it easier on her, and said that I should understand we had some little troubles because of mom's gender disappointment. I told them I don't owe her shit because she had gender disappointment, and that I didn't ask to be born to a mom who only wanted daughters. They told me I lacked adult understanding and compassion. Am I the astronaut? No, you don't lack adult understanding and compassion. They are lacking adult understanding and compassion, pretending like your issue just doesn't exist. Mom, doing all of this in front of you and just waving it in front of your face and not addressing the trauma that she puts you through is the issue here. And now you're 16. There's this resentment that builds and builds and builds. Now, eventually, you'll be able to have an independent life and go no contact and not have to deal with her. But until then, having to be around it all the time, I'm sure is really, really, really difficult. Urge you to talk to somebody about it. Because right now, the way that it's spilling out is spilling out with jabs. And while I understand and it's completely warranted what you're saying and what you're doing, you don't owe her shit. It's not productive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see what you're doing right now leading to any kind of solution path. It's not going to solve anything for you. If anything, it's just going to create more problems. I think a potential actual solution path would be some counseling, maybe independently at first, and then together with you and your mom so you can get through this if what you want is a healthy relationship with your mom. If you don't give a shit about a healthy relationship with your mom, and you're like, you know what, all this, then just wait it out until you can be independent and go no contact and then do that. But let's get Candy Thunder's feedback on this, ladies and gents. Once again, the colorful, beautiful, spicy as always, Candy Thunder.
Oh my God, it's Candy Thunder again.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I feel like at 16, like he's been treated like this his whole life, and he sees his sister getting what he wants, which is a relationship with his parents, and he doesn't have that. And at 16, your emotions are all over the place. So someone needs to hold her accountable because her family's not doing it. Her husband's not doing it. The daughter's not doing it. She's just loving the gifts that she's getting, the spoiling that she's getting, and him throwing it in her face time and time and time again is going to take away well, I never knew something was wrong. You never told me something was wrong. This kid is saying, you are f***ing up my life. You are f***ing up our relationship. And I've got 2 years left and then I'm not a part of it. Like, that's what he's saying to me. That's what he's doing. Because this mom is abusing her child. This is just f***ing abuse.
But did he say that? That's where the difference is. I think
on the level of a 16-year-old, yes.
If this was some kind of boundary that was like, here's what's going to happen if you keep doing X, then that would be a different thing.
Right.
But it's little jab, little jab, little jab. And I don't see that creating any kind of change.
No, and I totally understand what you're saying. Like, just do what you have to do until you can be done with this
Survive.
family. Yeah, and I get that. But at the same time, if I'm only going to be here 2 more years, like, I'm done. Like, you, every time you do something that you know is not okay, jab. Because at 16, like, and I'm trying to remember how I would have felt at this. Like, I would have been pissed. I would have been so hurt. And I would have wanted what my sister had so bad, because we all want that. We all want to be loved and cherished by our parents. Like, and to not have that. Like, his jabs, in my opinion, are like a cry for help. Like, he lost the only parent he had at 8 years old.
Yeah.
And now he has nothing. And so it's like, this is what he has. And I don't know, is it better to internalize it and keep your head down and move forward and just wait till you're 18?
It's not better to internalize it for sure.
Or is it better to just say what you feel when it happens and get it out and then leave when you're 18?
I was wanting to see, I was scrolling back through this to see what mom's response was to this. Did she even respond? Oh,
So the family said that he should take it easier on his mom because they had some little troubles. So way to minimize, those aren't little troubles. That's life-altering troubles. That's life-altering trauma that this mom has inflicted on her child. I understand gender disappointment. I mean, honestly, I don't. I really don't get gender disappointment. I understand wanting a boy or a girl, especially if you have one or the other, but you get what you get. Like, and maybe that's because we tried like so hard to have a baby that I just don't. It doesn't matter to me. I tried like both times. I've had 2 kids, and both times like worked really hard to have those kids. And so I don't. I mean, we chose. I mean, we had embryos. We did IVF. We chose the best embryo, and it was a girl. But we had 3 girls and 1 boy. Like,
we actually didn't. We deferred. We asked which the healthiest one was.
Well, that's what I was saying. We chose.
We didn't choose one based on
we chose healthiest.
anything other than health.
And that was, and it was a girl. But I mean, that was a 75% chance because there was only 1 boy. So, but I don't understand like wanting a specific gender and then feeling like your life can't be what you wanted it to be, like expectation versus reality. I want to understand it, but I don't know that I actually do. I think for anyone who wants a baby to hear this story is like gut punch, because it's like, how do you have a child? How do you carry a child, birth a child, and then be like, yeah, I don't want it? Like, how is gender the deciding factor in whether or not you're going to love and cherish your child? I will never understand.
And that goes back to
it's not fair.
Something's wrong. If somebody has that worldview and they feel strongly enough not even be able to hold their own baby and to cry not tears of joy, but tears of disappointment when they had a healthy child, something's wrong there. It's not okay. But going back to you, OP, who first of all, you're going to deal with this for the rest of your life. Let's just acknowledge that right now. Like, even when you get out of this house, this is going to be a big part of who you are and what you struggle with forever. And that you're going to have a lot of complications around relationships because of this. So no matter what, you should be talking to somebody on a regular basis. Sooner or later, you're going to have to. So the sooner you start it, the sooner you're going to start getting to a spot where you can have some healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Mom may be a lost cause here. I don't even know if you could convince her to get help.
Lisa said she wanted to play dress up instead of parenting.
It's possible.
And that also crossed my mind, that I see people who want girls because they want to dress them up and whatever the case may be, but that all fades. Like, that, they don't always want to play dress up. Like, girls change just like boys do. I mean, they all have different phases, and maybe boys want to play dress up. Like, I don't care. I don't care what my children play with. Like, we don't handle the gender things, but
prefer they not play with like matches
and knives and stuff. But I'm saying,
stuff.
as far as kids and stuff go, I don't care gender wise. I don't care who plays with what. It does not
give
bother
Navy
me.
a marker sitting in the kitchen. Next thing you know, the cabinets are all colored. Ladies and gentlemen, Dusty Thunder here with another Reddit story for you. This is actually a follower-submitted story, and it is a petty revenge story. Title of this one is, My Cheating Boyfriend Hates Clowns, and I'm a Petty Bitch. Clarification here. I think we all know how I feel about clowns. This is not me. Hello, Dusty. I, female 26, recently found out my asshole boyfriend, Kenneth, male 28, fake names, FYI, cheated on me with my best friend, now ex-best friend, Teresa, female 25. By the way, OP, if you're in chat and you want to claim this, you know what to do. It happened during a party a few months ago from what I've gathered, and since then, they continued seeing each other, hooking up whenever they could. Kenneth has lied to me, saying he was going to the gym, and I believed him because I had no reason not to. But last week, I saw Teresa was snapping Kenneth, which was odd, because I had never seen them communicate outside of the group chat. So I checked the messages, I know, and found a ton of dirty messages between the two of them, with her explicit bits out and all. Oh, her explicit bits. Oh, also, for those who are over the age of probably 30, snapping is messaging through Snapchat, just in case you were wondering. Their convo went back and forth talking about how he shouldn't be with me, she can treat him better, etc., and he fed right into it. I wanted to scream and lash out at him as soon as he got out of the shower, but I didn't. I closed the phone, kept cool, and played it off like nothing happened. Now to this past week. It's October. My boyfriend hates clowns. Despises them. We watched the movie Terrifier a few months ago, and it messed him up so badly that he couldn't sleep without the bathroom light on for weeks, literally. So I got to talking with one of my old friends, we'll call him Steven. Steven does improv at our local coffee shop a few times a month, and he's pretty good. I explained what was going on to Steven, and we decided to play a little game with Kenneth before I broke it off with him. I gave Kenneth's number to Steven, 2 different friend groups, they don't really know each other, and had him start periodically calling him for the past few days, just staying completely silent. Kenneth told me about the calls and I just shrugged, telling him I didn't know the number. So he blocked the number and went on about his business. Now I tell Kenneth I want to watch a scary movie, a clown movie, Terrifier 2. Oh yeah, he is adamantly against that. But I beg and plead and eventually it gets turned on. We're watching and we get a knock on the door. It's late, who could that be? Kenneth asks. I make him go answer the door. Nobody there. Another knock a few minutes later, Kenneth checks, nothing there. At this point, he's getting antsy. The movie is getting extremely graphic, and I'm having a blast because I know what's about to happen. Honey, I think there's something in our yard. I tell Kenneth to go look out the window. There, in our pitch black yard, is Steven, in full Terrifier clown attire, waving at Kenneth. Kenneth loses his absolute mind. He stumbles back and asks me what the hell is happening. I shrug, saying I have no idea. He cracks the door open and screams for whoever is in our yard to get the hell out of it. Steven shrugs and leaves, and Kenneth is pissed and confused, and I talk him down from calling the police, saying someone was just playing a harmless prank. At this point, he's pretty much refusing to continue watching the movie, but I managed to convince him to just let us finish it. He finished the movie after this shit. So we press play, and then more knocks. Really loud this time. Kenneth gets up, pissed, and marches to the door, swings it open, and Steven jumps forward, screaming in full-on clown mode. Kenneth screams and falls backwards. He was okay, no injuries aside from his ego, as Steven burst into laughter. Kenneth starts cursing Steven out before I stop him, then tell him that he's a cheating piece of shit, and that this was all to get back at him, because I know he's cheating on me with Teresa. Long story short, we're in the process of packing up his stuff to get him moved out now. We rent, my name is the only one on the lease. Soon, I'll have this asshole out of my life. I haven't thought of a clever way to get back at Teresa yet. Me and Steven have some scheming to do, but we'll figure it out. So that's my petty revenge story for you. Thoughts? Did I cross the line?
No, yes, queen. Yes.
I don't think you crossed the line at all. This was amazing. You get wait, we gotta get the petty thunder going on here. You get some petty thunder for that. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. That was fantastic. Also, the only part of this that worries me at all is like your buddy Steven, like if this was me, that a clown, like if there was a clown in my freaking yard and I opened up the door and there was a clown there, Steven would have been injured. Like Steven, like severely injured minimum. It would I'm super surprised that Steven got out of this unscathed. Because if this had happened at our house, he would definitely not have. But no. I think it's fantastic that you found out that they were cheating and keeping this shit behind your back and then played all of this really cool. It would have been great to get them both at the same time with this kind of thing, right? And then you could show her like who he really is at the same time, right? And the hard part about getting Teresa now is that he's telling Teresa that you did this, and now she's gonna be watching her back, which might be the ultimate revenge. You never get her, but she thinks you're going to, so she's watching her back for like 2 years straight, waiting for the other shoe to drop. That would be brilliant. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one is titled, I, 30 male, am in a 2-year relationship with a woman, 29 female, I was never attracted to. This started about 1 year after I broke up with my ex-girlfriend after she cheated on me. I was scared to approach other girls as I was afraid they would do the same to me, pretty logical. I was sad and lonely. I had always been an insecure person with low self-esteem. This is in no way an excuse, but I just want to lay out my mental state at the time. Then she came into my life. She was a junior in my office. We met through a common friend and started talking. She showed interest in me from the get-go. She was the one who initiated most of the conversations. She also flirted with me, to which I replied politely. Eventually, she admitted that she liked me. I have no idea what she saw in me. I wasn't attracted to her, unfortunately, so I rejected her, saying that I just got out of a relationship and I'm not looking for one right now. But she took it in a different way. Sometime later, when we were hanging out alone, she surprised me with a romantic gift. I was taken aback by this. It was at this point in my life that I had made one of the biggest mistakes of my life. I kissed her. Whether it was due to loneliness or just the sheer feeling of being loved or just plain horniness, I don't know, but I did. After this, we became a couple. She, of course, was very happy. I was, however, feeling very guilty for what I did. I thought about breaking up multiple times during our relationship, but wasn't able to do so. Sometimes there were some engagements. Her father also died during this time, so it didn't feel like the right time. Ultimately, I didn't have the courage to leave such a wonderful woman. And now coming to the present, here I am, still in the relationship. I'm not happy, and I don't even remember the last time when I was not depressed. She is an angel, and I am doing this to her. She has everything that I wanted a girl except the looks for me. If only I was attracted to her, my life would be set. I can't break up with her because I don't want to break her heart. I won't be able to see her cry. I also don't think any other girl would be interested in me, nor should they be. I am weak, but she deserves to be with someone who loves her as much as she loves him. I can't be with her as I am not attracted to her. I feel guilty of getting attracted to other women to the point that I don't even look at them now. I don't know what I'm going to do. What I do know is that whichever option I choose, I'm going to regret it later. Too long don't read. I'm in a relationship with a woman I'm not attracted to, and I don't know what I'm going to do next.
Bro, backbone.
This, because so the title was I am in a 2-year relationship with a woman I was never attracted to. But hold up, like backtrack here a little bit because she got you a romantic gift. You caved then, and it sounded like the way that you had explained it, and then she said she took it a different way. It sounded like this was going to turn into like a friends with benefits kind of thing, casual physical relationship. But somehow you guys went from the romantic gift, which you caved because of the horniness, into like the next day you're a couple. And you were too much of a coward to speak up at all during that time. And it kind of bounces back and forth from two different narratives here, where he says, she's such a good person. She deserves to be with somebody who likes her as much as she likes them. She deserves more. She deserves more than me. And then he's like, also, I'm just not attracted to her physically. So there's that. It's the looks. I know like looks are a thing that causes an initial attraction, right? But I think you fall in love with the person. You love the person. Like, I don't think you love their appearance. That's what draws you in, but you love the person. So he's not even giving her a chance. And it sounds like, there's the potential for so much more there, but he's just not attracted to her, maybe to the point that he's repelled by her a little bit, by her appearance. And that sucks. But OP, here's what you need to hear. You think that staying with her is doing her some kind of service. You think that staying with her and not breaking up with her because you think breaking her heart or watching her cry is going to be the disservice. The disservice is staying with her and lying to her right now. The disservice is to both of you staying in a situation which you know is not right and thinking that oh, she deserves to not have a broken heart. How do you think this is going to play out? Do you think you're going to go through an entire lifetime of being with this person and then at the very end be like, by the way, I was never attracted to you. And then she's going to be like, oh, we had such a happy life together. It is not going to work out like that. You are doing this person a disservice because you're being a coward about it. The most important conversations that you need to have in life are the difficult conversations. And right now you're just leading her astray. And if you, it sucks. It sucks to think about her in this position. He did come out and say like he's not looking for a relationship and how this snowballed so quickly. I don't understand. He glazed over that. But the fact remains is you're 2 years in and you're only with her because you're too scared to break up with her because you don't want to see her cry. Pick your pain. Right now, you are choosing a decent amount of pain every day for the rest of your life rather than the 30 minutes of pain of seeing her cry. Or an hour, whatever it is. Short term, more pain, get it over with. The math on this is going to be more pain if you keep your mouth shut. For both of you. The right thing to do is to speak up. For both of you. Ugh. Candy Thunder, this type of person grosses me out. Mother Trucker says my ex is currently do this. His girlfriend he's wanted to be with, Elizabeth, he thinks he's a 10 with a 1 personality. I hope she finds her fabulous. She gonna be big mad when she finds out, when he finally does come clean, and every day that goes by is going to make it an even bigger mad because the amount of time that you're wasting right now, and that time is the most valuable resource we have, right? It is the most finite thing that we have. So to waste someone's time intentionally is absolute hot garbage. So the other side of this is the longer you wait, the more this is going to affect her life later on and affect her ability to have relationships going on. You obviously need to be talking to somebody. You obviously need to be going through counseling because whatever happened in your last relationship or even before that, the way that you feel completely worthless and disgusting and like you see no value in yourself at all, you don't need to be in a relationship period until you are through that, until you are happy with yourself, until you enjoy your own company, until you can be comfortable with yourself and be your own friend. You do not need to be in a relationship because right now you're kind of spreading your disease, and that is not doing anyone a service, not even you. Do it different. This is the worst. This is the worst of the worst, man. Like he feels like this is a Kobayashi Maru. He's presenting this like it is a no-win scenario. Like no matter what he does, he's going to regret it. I'm telling you right now, you're going to regret not having her around because it sounds like you guys could probably be really good friends in a different kind of situation. But think about what is the right thing for her. You have to think about that. And also you have to think about you and picking your pain. There's pain down either path, but what is it like? Which path leads to more pain? I think the path that you're on right now, you've already endured 2 years of being with somebody who you don't want to be with because you're too freaking chicken to speak up. That's 2 years banked worth of pain that could have been avoided if you learned to speak your mind. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story. This one from AITA is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Taking Away My Son's School Computer? Throwaway account. My 48 male son, Anthony 14 male, was given a computer by his school for schoolwork. All right, so he's 14. It was provided by the school. They're supposed to have it with them at all times, which is where the problem lies. My son was at a basketball game and was 15 minutes late past curfew a couple days ago, so my original plan was to not let him go anywhere for the rest of the week other than to school him back. However, he argued with me that it was only 15 minutes. My wife chimed in saying that the game went into overtime and they weren't allowed to leave until it was over. It was a school function. I said he could have messaged me, but she reminded me that I took his phone already. He got in trouble for backtalking me earlier this week. I told her to quit defending him, and then Anthony started arguing with me, telling me I was overreacting. I got sick of his behavior and grounded him. All right, I'm throwing a red flag right now because when you're parenting against each other, like in front of your child, that's going to make things really, really difficult for you. And OP and his partner are not on the same page right now at all, openly. So it's just dysfunction. He doesn't have much other than his phone, so I took his school computer and said that he won't get it back until he apologizes, which probably won't happen for a while since he's stubborn as hell. The past couple of days, he's been failing some of his classes because I guess some teachers refuse to give paperwork and need everything online. He begged for it back and I said no, that it's his own fault he's failing because he backtalked me, so now he has no computer to use. The school actually called us in for a meeting because they said that I was restricting my son's education by not letting him use his computer, but after some back and forth, his teachers now have to make him paper copies so he can get back on track. I told them not to exempt him from anything so he doesn't get rewarded for bad behavior. My wife is mad at me and says that she's considering separating for a while because I treat Anthony poorly. I talked to my mom, who told me that we were both wrong, but I was worse. Now I'm wondering if I was the asshole. Hold up. Your own mom said you're both assholes, but you're the bigger asshole. Hey, just a moment to give mom a round of applause here. I called my mom to lead to, she said that my wife was wrong and I was right, and that's exactly how it should be done. But good on you, mom. Mom, you get the green flag, mama. All right, top comment on this one. YTA. My guess is when he gets bad grades, he's also going to be in trouble, despite the fact that you're forcing him into these bad grades. But let's break this down. Your kid talked back to you, so you took his phone. Okay, that could be fair. Then he went to a school function that ran late and wasn't allowed to leave early, which is sus to me, by the way. He couldn't text you because, again, you took his phone, so he was a bit late getting home. Then you chew him out for being late, and having already gotten in trouble for backtalking, he can't really defend himself, so your wife, your partner, fills in the gaps. Instead of realizing that this was pretty much your fault, you jumped down her throat, took his source of education, and are now wondering why she says you treat him badly? Do you see how unreasonable you sound here? You sound like a guy who demands respect from your subordinates. Your family should never be subordinate, my guy, but don't give them much respect. You demand an apology from your son, but I bet you won't apologize to him for creating this entire mess. Some comments by OP. I'm sorry you consider parenting to be abuse. Oh, Jesus. Also, I'm sorry you consider this. I'm sorry you think this. Yeah, this.
These are all replies. I didn't put the original.
Okay, these are all replies by random comments from OP. We're just going to be looking at OP's replies here, though. I'm sorry you consider parenting to be abuse. Maybe stop letting kids do whatever and actually be a parent before you criticize someone else for doing what a parent should do. Borrow someone else's phone or have someone from the school call me. I honestly don't care if he fails. He'd get into trouble for staying late and could have found a way to let me know beforehand, but he didn't, so he can deal with the consequences. He has the work on paper now, so he won't be failing. It's not trivial at 14, and if I let 15 minutes slide, eventually it turns into 30, and eventually he just won't care about the curfew at all. Also, it's not abuse. It's called being a parent. My guy, you can call it whatever the you want. You are having a negative impact on your child, and the punishment does not fit the crime here, my guy. Also, the school could actually say that you had stolen this computer because it's not your property. It's the school's property. You have no right to take it from him. I'm surprised the school was like, okay, we'll do this and give him the paper thing. And he acts like he won that battle. I don't think he actually did. And also, I think that this is going to be a bigger issue. This whole. It's not, if you have to say it's not abuse, it's not abuse, it's not abuse. It's probably abuse, my guy. I'm stealing the my guy thing from that commenter because I'm just running it home here. If you have to say it over and over again, it probably is. Also, if you're coming to Reddit and saying, am I the astronaut for taking away my son's school computer and then giving this story, but then everybody who comes out and says, yeah, I think you actually might be, you're like, no, it's not this, it's this, it's not this and this. So what the hell are you doing here, man? If you are only here looking for validation, if you're not going to be open-minded enough to hear that you're wrong and actually improve as a human being, then what are you doing here? No one's validating you here. Nobody. You are having a negative impact on your son's life. You are overreacting. You are being too strict on everything here. And you have to understand that you're making it your game is to make things more difficult at every turn for people. Yes, you demand respect from your family, but then also you place these limitations on them that make it harder to satisfy you. You set up an unwinnable scenario for them and then wonder why they're frustrated. How the hell does your son feel here? He's like, there's no way to win. So even your wife dealing with a person like this, they look at it as an unwinnable scenario. There's no point because there's no way to make them happy. All you can hope to do is survive from day to day. And here she's looking to separate because you treat him badly. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there was more to that conversation, but that's the one thing that he pulled out of it. What are your thoughts on this, Candy Thunder? Jump right up.
I have to leave in like 3 minutes, but the only thing I want to say that this is, I think the wife jumped in because this is abuse and she can't take her child being treated like this anymore because he won't. And I understand, but at some point it's like you are being too hard and you won't let up. And I feel like in parenting, there has to be at least let your child speak, like at least let your child talk to you, especially at 14, because they're old enough to have that conversation. instead of just saying, here's your punishment, deal with it, like ultimatum, like this is it. Talk to your child, because in my opinion, this father is overreacting to what he seems that his son is not doing exactly what I say. When I say jump, you say how high. I loathe that kind of parenting. I loathe it because it's not okay. Like, no, children are human beings and we should treat them like human beings, because if somebody did this to that dad, he would lose his shit because his ego would be challenged, his control would be challenged, and he would lose his shit. And I think, especially when kids get older, we have to have the conversation. If you want to dish out punishment, that's fine, but have it in a conversation. Hey, this is why I'm upset. Like, can you explain to me what happened? And when you hear that response, if you're not satisfied with it, then you can dish out the punishment. But I mean, what are you doing by taking away a school laptop?
Yeah,
a
what are you trying to achieve there?
That you can't access anything on. They're locked down, like no social media sites, nothing. You can research on it. You can go to like your power school stuff to do your homework. All you're doing is making your son's life harder because he was at a basketball game? Was he in the band? Like, was he playing in the basketball game? Was he a manager for the basketball game? Why couldn't he leave?
Right.
Like, we don't know those things. And if he was there, like, just hanging out and it went long, like, basketball game. Like, I mean, you already took away his phone and now I don't know. I don't agree with this kind of, like, dictator parenting. I feel like, especially as your child gets older, you have to treat them like human beings and not just because I said so. Like, they have to understand why it's happening and why you're saying what you're saying. And parents who don't apologize piss me the off. This dad was wrong. He shouldn't have done what he did. And when he met with the school, he should have walked it back and apologized, because teaching your child to be accountable for the actions, like accountable for their actions, you do that when you apologize to your child. And I have apologized and apologized, because I feel like if I overreact in a situation, I don't want that to be what my child thinks is okay. I want to say, hey, especially with Ava, hey, I f***ed this up. Like, I messed up. I should not have done this. I went too far and I'm sorry. Like, this is how I should have handled it, and XYZ. That's
the important part there. When you said, we can apologize all we want. It's never just an apology, though. It's never just like, hey, I'm sorry I raised my voice. It is a teaching moment.
Yes.
That is here's how I should have handled it, and here's what I was trying to accomplish.
Exactly.
Here's a better way to do this. And he's got to realize that all he's doing is training his son to be a dictator right now as well. It's also really interesting that he puts his wife on the same level as his son.
Like, they're not allowed to speak. Like, he just hands out.
He just gives orders to both of them.
Yep.
And so it's him, and then it's the rest of the family, and they all follow orders, even to the detriment of their own education or whatever.
Right.
Like, I think you're probably going to get left here, buddy.
I want to know if you would never take away a school-issued laptop, but what would happen if the wife gave the son back the laptop?
Oh.
What would happen in that moment? Because that's where you find out that this is abuse.
Yeah.
That's where you find out that this is the way that he is running this family is not okay.
Right.
Acting like he is the end all be all. Nobody else gets a say in anything that happens in this family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This kind of stuff is just
not even the school, apparently.
No. Like,
nobody tells my kid what to do but me, damn it.
And also, like, go to the school and ask for extra credit, and that is a punishment for your child for being late. Do something that actually supports them, not something that makes their life 10 times harder, and also calls them out in every single class when they get handed papers and they can't use their laptop. Like, this dad he's not cool.
I just don't understand what his goal here is. And a lot of people say in here, it's more important that they listen to him and take his orders and carry his orders out than anything else. It doesn't matter, like, to what detriment, right? So I just don't understand in his mind what his goal is, to have a compliant family, because it's easier that way. So his goal isn't to have a happy family and, like, help teach his kids and help and love his wife and, like, do this as a team and be happy. That's not the goal. The goal is to just do what I say. Yeah. And that's it.
I think he wants respect from his family. This is how he thinks he should get it. Maybe his dad did this to him and it was like, there's no room for error, but no human can live in a world where there is no room for error, because we make errors every day, all the time. And we make up for them. We move forward. We learn from them. But expecting perfection out of a child is just shitty behavior. Yeah. Also,
those who demand respect rarely deserve it. Those who earn respect always deserve it. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder here with another Reddit story for you. We got another one of these. Spicy story. Title of this one is, Am I the Astronaut for telling my sister's fiance that she is infertile? Oh shit. I will try to keep this as simple as possible. My 26 male sister, Emma 29 female, was very sick in high school. Her choice was either to die young or to be able to conceive children. It was a hard decision for her and she doesn't like to talk about it. She's been dating Adam, 29 male, for about 6 years and he is really nice. The whole family loves him. He proposed to her last year and they were planning to marry in March of next year, but here's the problem. Adam really wants kids. He always plays around with our little cousins at family events and talks about what he wants to do and teaches future children. We always thought that they were just going to be adopting, so he never brought it up. But since the engagement, I have noticed that he always talks about them as their children, as in biological. Just because he says they're kids doesn't mean that it's biological, right? I don't know how to explain it, but it didn't seem like they were going to adopt a child. Okay, there's some context clues. Didn't seem like it. After thinking about it for a while, I decided to talk with Emma about it. I asked her out and gently brought up the topic. She did seem a bit angry about my mentioning it, but explained to me that Adam treats adoption the same as giving birth and that he is happy all the same. It sounded believable, but I know my sister, she was lying. During the entire conversation, she could not look me in the eye. After a month, I finally decided to talk to Adam. This Sunday, we were gathered at my parents' house for dinner, and while everybody was busy and we were alone, I asked Adam how the adoption proceedings were going. Were they going to start now or after they got married? He looked surprised and asked me what I was talking about. I mentioned how he wants many kids, so they should probably be starting with the whole process early. He asked me if Emma wants to adopt a child because they had never talked about it. Oh no. Since my parents were coming back, I asked him to talk to me later. Around the end of the dinner, I asked him for some help with my phone and led him to the balcony, and I was honest with him. I asked him if he knew that Emma couldn't have children. At first, he thought I was joking, but when he saw that I was serious, he got this dead look on his face. I told him some of the details and said that it would probably be best if he talked with Emma for the full story. He was quiet for the rest of the evening. When they got home, they apparently got into a major fight. I know that he is currently staying with friends and asked for the ring back, but nothing else. Emma hates me, and our parents are mostly on her side and think that I shouldn't have said anything. I thought I was doing the right thing. This is such a huge secret to keep from your future partner, but maybe it really wasn't my place to say anything. Well, OP, like now's a hell of a time to be like, maybe it wasn't my place. You've already done it. I understand he thought he was doing the right thing, like saving his sister's fiance from future pain. It really wasn't his place. It really wasn't his place. Now, if you're gonna confront somebody, that confrontation needs to happen with the sister. It needs to happen maybe as an enhancement, like a step 2 would be parents plus sister, and be like, hey, I feel like you're not being truthful here. Have you told him before you step into this? You're going to be tricking somebody into marrying you and hiding the truth from them if you don't come clean about this. Are you 100% telling the truth that he knows about this? But it's not his business to get involved. It's not his business to pull somebody aside and say, hey, you're being lied to. Or is it? No, starting a marriage on a lie it's terrible. She shouldn't do what she did. Does that excuse him doing what he did? Do 2 wrongs make a right here? ESH, but sister has asked Con1 for not being honest. That's so selfish and a horrible thing to do. He did need to know. I would want to know too. Who's Tony Holfeld? I'm just kidding. Tony Spark on the YouTube side said it wasn't his place to say anything for sure, but he also lied to OP. But she also lied to OP and has been lying to her fiance as well. In my opinion, she is higher on the Ascon scale than OP. I agree with you. What she is doing is an Ascon. One thing, I'm sure there's a great amount of shame with what she's dealing with here, and maybe it's a denial. I'm sure she struggles with her infertility all the time, and it's not an easy thing to get through. And medically, getting there medically because of a life-threatening situation, I'm sure is even harder to deal with. But deceiving a person that you're supposed to love and a person that you are saying you want to do life with as a team for the rest of your life ain't the play. What she is doing is much, much worse. However, that's not the question here. The question is not on her behavior, whether she did the right thing or not. It is, am I the astronaut for telling my sister's fiance that she's infertile? So it's the brother Is the brother an asshole for jumping in and telling the truth? Somebody had to do it if it wasn't going to be her. So since it was him, was it still an asshole thing to do? And keep this in mind. It can be a net positive and still be an asshole thing to do. So maybe this was a justified asshole. Blame him for it. Let him think he had the infertility issues. Gracie, we've read stories like that. It would lead to a life of pain for both of them. So yes, he's preventing that. He's saving it, but still, this might be a justified asshole thing for me. And really, I think his approach should have been different here. So it's not a definitely shouldn't have done it. For me, it's a should have done it differently. Because I think if you're escalating this thing, you had the conversation with her, you thought she was lying. You didn't press the fact that you thought she was lying, though. You didn't say, hey, I know you're lying. Come clean to me right now. And confront her about it and force it out of her. And if that didn't work, get the parents involved and say, hey, I'm pretty sure she's lying. And I feel like he's getting ready to get trapped into this situation that he doesn't understand, and then have an intervention there. And if that doesn't work, then talk to him. So it's just for me, should have done it a little bit differently. But what she did is, yes, it's terrible. And I'm sure she's got a great amount of shame that it's a conversation that she doesn't know how to have. But maybe that's the conversation again, going back to therapy or counseling. Maybe that's something you don't have to do alone, but it's absolutely something that your partner for the rest of your life needs to know about ahead of time. Or you can expect nothing but them to leave when they do find out. If you trick them into getting married by hiding this, it's terrible. I think it's justified assholery. The order of things should have happened differently in my mind. And you say she had 6 years for this conversation. If OP, how long have they been engaged? He proposed to her last year. So OP has had a year to have these confrontations here too. The time, I don't feel like time is a big issue. She's a bigger asshole for holding on to it for that long. Yes, no doubt. No doubt. I don't think OP isn't an asshole, but it's a justified asshole. And if there were other options to play this out a different way, that would have been less of an intrusion or less of an asshole move on OP's part. Aof says you never reveal medical info unless it's life-threatening for the person you can tell. So this gets complicated on many levels, right? But again, if he had pressed sister for this and said, I know you're lying, and then gotten the parents involved, I think it would have been, all of that could have been avoided here as well. If anything, you let the parents have an intervention with him there, or the both of them there, or you're there with parents and with the two of them and say, we're going to air this out right now and make sure everybody's on the same page and starting this marriage off on the right foot. Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.